Hare Krishna. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave. So we are discussing the 29th chapter. Here Narada Muni is instructing the king and he is explaining different concepts. So here he's telling how we are wrongly identifying with the body. So different ways the same things are explained, and how in the dream also some things are fulfilled, especially for devotees if they don't want to do sense gratification. And but the desires are there from the previous life. Lord fulfills in the dream so that he may not have to undergo the trouble. So that option is there for devotees to protect them. So that was our discussion last time. Now we are struggling with our anarthas now, and but again, if you get more anarthas, we will not be able to handle. So Lord is very merciful. He is handling it in. And then we saw this another how the gross senses are needed for the subtle senses to perform action. But even if in the like Prabhupada is telling that in if one dreams and although they may not young woman is present but senses may act. So this is also another important thing. Which senses are acting? So here we discussed. So the subtle senses are asking Stotra, Chakshu, Jihva. Gross senses are ears, Akshini, Talu, and Karana. So they are the gross senses, but there are subtle senses which are activated. So when the dream, when we are experiencing something, it is because of these subtle senses. I also feel we go through all the experiences in a dream where you are running and you are. If you are run, we should need legs, na? Who are running? It is the subtle senses we are experiencing them. So all these things. So the activities of subtle and gross body depends on how developed conditions are. The example of a moon is very appropriate. On dark moon night, the full moon shines. This full shining moon is still present, but it appears not to present due to conditioning. Similarly, senses of living entity are there, but they only become active when the gross body and the subtle body are developed. This is another important thing to understand. Like what happens is when the child is born, his both subtle and gross senses are not developed. So it takes almost 15 years for the subtle and gross senses to develop. So at gross and subtle seven body to develop takes 15 years. That's why after teenage, when they are 16 years, they say, okay, now this person is fully developed. So here, na, it is development and even brain also. The scientists say it takes almost 15 years. So to completely start activating full fledged, and that's the age. Say 16 years, one person is considered a major. He can make his own decisions because not only this subtle, even the gross body is the manifestation of brain also according to scientists. And brain is actually proportionate to the subtle body's growth. So subtle body is main the programmer for the brain. So whatever subtle body does, the brain functions accordingly. And this is not only Bhagavatams, it is scientific research also. Brain for 15 years. So unless the senses and gross body are developed, they will not act on the subtle body. You see? So senses of the body are developed, they will not act. That means because the absence of desire in the subtle body, there may be no development in the gross body also. So they will not act on the subtle body means what does this means that the If four Kumaras, we take the example. So four Kumaras, so they did not develop gross body, right? So why? Because it will have effect on the subtle body, right? So that's why they decided, let me remain just very young, 4 5 years children, so that they don't have any effect. And and similarly, because of the absence of subtle body, there may not be development of gross body. So it is vice versa. So if you are not having gross body, you subtle body will not develop. But subtle body is not having any desires. So subtle body is desires, right? So then you will not get gross body also. Like if I have a desire to enjoy like a demigod, then you get a gross body of a demigod. If a person has a desire to enjoy like a dog, so based on desire you are getting gross body. And if gross body is developed, then you have a effect on settled body, not that growth of settled body. This is effect of settled body. So gross body affects settled body, but settled body creates gross body. You are understanding the difference. Like example of a say you want to become a demigod or a dog, right? So then the desires will make person get gross body. You are understanding the difference. So this is a very important thing to understand. And then when the living entity dreams, the sense objects are not actually present. However, because one has associated with the sense objects, they become manifest. This is another important thing. Even though it is not there, um, the sense objects are not there. Because one has associated with sense objects, they become manifest. That means if a person is watching a horror movie, so then the horror movie will manifest in the dream also. So living entity is dreaming about it. Similarly, living entity with undeveloped senses does not cease to exist materially, even though he may not be exactly in contact with the sense objects. And we should have proper presentations for all this important points. This is the seminar of Narada Muni to King Prachini Bharshyat on about. He started, it's such a big charter. He started how the living entity make choices between the three modes and Supreme Lord. And we are making a choice of the three modes instead of Supreme Lord. Then he discussed about desires. Then he discovered a false ego. Now he's telling the difference between the subtle body and gross body. You can see how many topics Naradaman is touching. It's a huge chapter, 85 verses. And he says that living entity with undeveloped senses does not cease to exist materially, even though he may not be exactly in contact with sense objects. So this is a very nice thing. Like Prabhupada gives, it is sometimes said that because the child is innocent, he is completely pure. Actually, this is not fact. This is what Prabhupada is here, Naradaman is trying to tell also. With undeveloped senses does not cease to exist materially. That means uh, it is not that I don't have the senses, does not mean I am not having that state. You may have it, it is not developed, that's all. So this is the example. Child is not innocent. No children are innocent. Because it is only that they are not developed, that's all. The effect of fruitive activities reserved in the subtle body appears in three concurrent stages. So how this appears in three levels. What is that stages? One is bija, another is kuta, another is falonmukha. So the this is the first is the root. Root is what? This is inclination, right? And then there is desires. So then once you are inclined, then you start developing such desires, and it's about to fructify. So this is the tendency to do. to perform the activity, because you have the inclination, you have developed desires, and then there is tendency to act, right? So the manifest stage is called prarabdha, already in action, in conscious, in a conscious or unconscious state. The action of subtle or gross body may not be manifest, but such states cannot be called the liberated state. This is also thing. Because why we don't call children innocent? It is just unmanifested, that's all. It's not that they are liberated. Prabhupada is giving the same. A child may be innocent, but it does not mean that he is liberated soul. That means only thing is he is just going to act in future. Everything is held in reservation. Everything will be manifest in due course of time. Even in the absence of certain manifestation in subtle body, the objects of sense enjoying may act. Oh, this is another point. So this is nice. He says the example has been given of a nocturnal emission in which the physical senses act even when the physical object is non-manifest. So the three modes of material nature may not be manifest in the subtle body, but the contamination of the three modes remain conserved, and in due course of time it becomes manifest. Such a nice important point. You try to understand what Prabhupada is telling. Prabhupada is telling that I'm sorry, so there are some network issues. We'll try to analyze this point once again. Uh, so that means physical senses act even when the physical body are not manifested. So this is a very important thing to understand. This we discussed also. Now, three modes of mental nature may not be manifest in the subtle body. That means it is, but the contamination of three modes remains conserved. So due to in due course of time it becomes manifest. So like not manifest in the sense like the child is there. Look, for a child it is not manifesting, he's not showing so much rajoguna, so much sattoguna, he mostly shows tamaguna. So three modes may not be manifest in the subtle body. The child looks very innocent, right? But the contamination is there, remains reserved, and due course of time it becomes manifest. So that's why we see, array, after practicing so much also, why this person is behaving like this, because the contamination is still there. So that is the reason these things are coming out again and again and again. So what is more important is to remove the contamination, not just external activity. Cheto darpana marjanam, where is this contamination? In the chitta, right? That's why Cheto Darpana Marjan. We have to clean that chitta. Unless that is cleaned, everything is again going to manifest. That's why, like people after practicing so many years and then they go back, they again start doing the same activities because the contamination is there, conserved, and in due course it even if the reactions of the subtle and gross body are not manifest, one does not become free from the material condition. Therefore, it is wrong to say that the child is good as a liberated soul. You see, because it is just a, it's just that they are there in the subtle body, not manifesting. That's all. Very clear to understand. Uh, so this is a nice point Prabhupada says, and then Narada Muni is continuing his seminar on this topic. So he says that the five sense objects, the five sense organs, the five knowledge acquiring senses, and the mind are 16 material expansions These combined with the living entity and are influenced by three modes of mental nature. Thus, the existence of conditioned soul is understood. So, this is like a conclusion. Very nice understanding. So, this I am always telling that this is a technology. Five senses, sense organs, five knowledge acquiring senses, mind, 16 mental. We are imitating all these technologies. Sense objects, sense organs we are imitating. We have our mobile can see, mobile can hear, mobile can speak. So this is a technology which Lord created, and we are trying to imitate the same technology. And knowledge acquiring senses also. All the sensors and all. Uh, this is knowledge acquiring senses. And mind is like artificial intelligence, AI, right? So here we have sensors. Here we have all the gadgets, like see, touch. So mobile has touch function also. It can see also. It can hear also. It can speak also. All these things are there. Now these are then they are combined together and given to the living entity, combined with the living entity and influenced by three modes. This is actually the most important factor. These three modes, because three modes are what actually functions in this world. Uh, these are only the instruments. The main thing functions is the three modes, because it always changes everything around. Three modes are always not stable. Why? The creation itself started like that, right? No, there is instability. People want to balance things in their life, but we cannot balance because three modes are always there. So modes don't allow us to balance, right? So that's the existence of living entities understood. So here, Mamaivaamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manasashtanindriyani Prakriti Sthani Karshati. You see, Prakriti Sthani. This is Prakriti Sthani Karshati. They are struggling very hard with six senses, which include my living entities conditioned in this world. So Karshati means conditioned. So here it is explained that the living entity comes in contact with 16 material elements and is influenced by the three modes. So this is the mm, first thing. And purpose, according to Madhvacharya, when consciousness, the living force in the heart, is agitated by three modes. So this is where it started. So Madhvacharya is telling same thing about three modes only, and Prabhupada is talking about three modes. Of all the things, most important means the main factor that is holding us is three modes only. That's why Prabhupada is also talking about the same thing. According to Madhvacharya, when the consciousness, living force in the heart is agitated by three modes of material nature, then the settled body of the living entity consisting of mind, five sense objects and all, knowledge acquiring and all, they become possible. You see, when they are coming, when the three modes only. We were discussing the same thing. So the three modes are the main culprit because we choose three modes. We are choosing, right? That is the first topic, first discussion which Narada Muni is telling. Between the Lord and three modes, we are choosing three modes. That's why we are caught. And we have to come out means what? We start choosing now. Instead of choosing three modes, we only choose one mode. That is goodness. So then there is a possibility of coming out. That's all. And now he gives us a by virtue of possession of settled body, the living entity develops and gives up gross bodies. So by virtue of possessing a settled body, because of the settled body only our gross bodies are changing, right? This is known as transmigration of soul. The soul is transmigrating because of settled body. Thus, the soul becomes subjected to different types of so-called enjoyment, lamentation, fear, happiness, and unhappiness. So the transmigration is happening because we identify, and that's it is happening. So this is like another conclusion he's making. According to this explanation, one can clearly understand that originally the living entity was as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his pure spiritual existence. However, when mind becomes polluted by desires for sense gratification, the living entity drops into mental condition. So that is very clear. So the process is to take devotionals. Manmanabho madbhakto madhyadi mam namaskuru. So basically, we want to purify our mind. One should always engage in devotional service and worship me. Evam parampara praptamim rajasho viduhu. And Dehinosmineta dehe komaram vananjara. So Prabhupada is taking all these verses to explain the same concept more clearly. And the next two verses they explain, Narada Muni is explaining that the caterpillar, this is nice analogy he gives. The caterpillar transports itself from one leaf to another by capturing one leaf before giving up another. Similarly, according to his previous work, the living entity must capture another body before giving up this one. This is because the mind is reservoir of all kinds of desires. So I will try to explain this analogy for you. So here, two leaves are there, and the caterpillar is traveling from one leaf to another. So now, here, so the caterpillar is going from one leaf to another. So here, what happens is after touching this, it will leave this. Similarly, for the subtle body, it starts developing into another body. So first the subtle body develops another body. That means this body is not fit for the subtle body now. So then we get a gross body. So this is how it happens. So here the caterpillar after touching then it leaves. Similarly, subtle body, we have cultivated our consciousness, and this is based on development of what? Development of consciousness. So we have developed a certain consciousness. That's why what will be my next birth? This is the important question. What will be my next birth? Right? Everybody want to know. We all want to know what will be my next birth. On what basis we will tell? Yeah, what is your consciousness? That's all. So that's all. What is consciousness now? If I'm having a consciousness of demigods, for sure I can go to heaven. If I dance a consciousness of human being, I'll remain here. Animal, then go down. If I have a consciousness of a Vaikuntha being, I go to Vaikuntha. That means this body is now my consciousness is of a Vaikuntha being. That means this body is not suitable here because this is all problem. So immediately I get a body of Vaikuntha being and I am sent there. So this is very simple to understand what will be next birth. No confusion. Now I can tell if I leave my body, very less likely that I'll go to Vaikuntha because my consciousness is not there. It's not something magic will happen before dying. No magic happens. We have to develop that consciousness only. You have to work hard to gain that gratitude, service attitude, humility, selflessness, all the things, the qualities that are mentioned for a devotee that should be there before entering. Otherwise, what happens now? If I get a body, if it is not on my consciousness, I'll become very miserable. Say now I have a human consciousness. If I get an animal body, it is so miserable. I cannot function only properly. And suddenly we are given a demigod body. It is too sattva guna. We cannot handle that much sattva guna. So we become very miserable. Even what to speak of sattva guna and demigods, even the body of other country beings or other female, like a man consciousness is there if he gets a female body. And that's actually what is happening to people. They want to change their uh, gender. Why? Because their consciousness is a female, but they got a male body. And that's why they got is another reason. But now they want to change it. So this is actually why it is happening. They are becoming miserable. So our consciousness decides the next body. So settled body, we are already developing it. So what will be next body? You develop that consciousness. This is the sadhana, hard work. So now in previous ages, na, they used to follow nice Varnashrama Dharma. What is Varnashrama Dharma they are doing? It is actually elevating consciousness. Varnashrama is for elevation of consciousness. So elevating consciousness. So urdhvam gachanti sattvastha. Sattvastha means his consciousness is sattva. Madhye tishtanti rajasa jagannagunavityasya adho gachanti tamasa. That's all. So it's all depends on, because here, if you previously also you said, no, consciousness is affected by the three modes. So if you remember the last shloka. So this is what is happening. And Prabhupada is writing that a living entity too much absorbed in material activity becomes very much attracted to the material body. Even at the point of that, he thinks of his present body and relatives connected to it. So this is actually, if a person is crying na, at the time of death for his family, house, relatives, that means he's dying with a very bad consciousness. He is not going to get any higher destination. If his person is very peaceful living, he says, everything is done, I am going. He will go to heavenly planets. If he is not lamenting and all, then it is good for him only. If he is having any of these things, he cannot enter. So thus he remains fully absorbed in bodily conception of life, so much so that even at the point of death, he abhors living in his present body. Sometimes it is found that the person on the verge of death remains in coma for many days before giving up his body. So this is also another thing Prabhupada is telling. That means he don't want to leave the body only because of so much attachment. So Prabhupada is telling, sometimes it is found that a person on the verge of death remains in coma for many days before giving up the body. This is common among so-called leaders and politicians who think that without their presence, the entire country and society will be in chaos. This is called Maya. Political leaders do not like to leave their political post, and they either have to be shot by enemy or obliged to leave by the arrival of death. By superior arrangement, a living entity is offered another body, but because of his attraction to the present body, he does not like to transfer himself to another body. Thus, he is forced to accept another body by the laws of nature. So, enter into coma. Na, this is because of the strong attachment to body. There is one film actress in South India. She was in coma for 8 months. Of course, after some time they have to leave, but they hold on to it. But it cannot function also properly because the consciousness is not properly connected. So I don't know what technology that is, but somehow the body don't work in coma. So pranavayu is not going properly completely. So material nature is very strong. Natural modes force one to accept another body. And what happens is we are material nature is forcing based on our consciousness. If a person lived like a dog, material nature forces the subtle body to enter into dog. It will force that living entity. So he cannot, he's helpless. That's why he's forced to accept another body. You, it will be dragged to the body of a dog. And no, helplessly. This force is visible when the living entity transmigrates from a superior body to inferior one. You see, and one who acts like a dog or a hog in the present body is certainly forced to accept a body of a dog or a hog in next life. That's all. There is no option only. A person may be enjoying a body of a prime minister or president, but when he understands that he will be forced to accept a body of a dog or a hog, he chooses not to live the present body. So there are, I don't know, Prabhupada is talking about two personalities here. uh, and maybe Prabhupada is talking or not, but there are two very famous examples. Two prime ministers of, one is of, I'll not tell name, let it be. So therefore, he lies in a coma for many days after death. So this is actually what happens. When he understands that he will be forced to accept another body, he chose not to leave the present body, and he lives in coma many days before death. This has been experienced by many politicians at the time of death. The conclusion is that Next body is already determined by superior control. So we are attracting, we are forcing the material nature to act upon us. And then that's all that is happening for living entities. Sometimes in the present body, the living entity feels that many of his desires and imaginations are not fulfilled. Those who are overly attracted to their life situations are forced to remain in ghostly bodies and not allowed to accept another gross body. This is another problem. See, one is you a person enters into coma. Even then he is attached to the body, na? Then he will become a ghost. And that's why at the crematoriums and all these burial grounds, you find ghosts. Why there are ghosts? Because that fellow is attached to the body and he feels my body is in this buried here. Some people think my body is burnt here. Maybe I should be. They are attached to that body and they are not able to go only from that place. So even the body of a ghost, they create disturbance for neighbors and relatives. The mind is the prime cause of such a situation. According to one's mind, different types of bodies are generated and forced to accept them as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam tajantante kalevaram tam tam eva iti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavita. Purusha prakritisto bhungte praktijan guna karanam guna sangasya sadasad yona janmashu. So here, what Prabhupada is trying to tell is the living entities may transmigrate to a superior and inferior body according to his association with modes. You see, modes are actually changing our consciousness. If one associates with ignorance, he gets an animal body, associates with goodness, passion, he gets body accordingly. Udhvam gachanti sattvasya, we discuss this. So then the root cause of one's association is the mind. So now another, again Prabhupada is coming to this important point. So what is the root cause? The root cause of one's association is mind. This great Krishna conscious movement is the greatest boon to the human society because it is teaching everyone to think always of Krishna by executing devotional service. In this way, at the end of life, one may be transferred to the association of Krishna. This is technically called Nitya Leela Pravishta, entering the planet Goloka Vrindavan. Bhagavad Gita explains, Bhaktyamam Abhijanati. So basically, we have to change our consciousness. Otherwise, material nature is forcing, dragging that so subtle body and putting in another gross body. You like this is very nicely. I will explain here. See, like uh, we have a gross body, and then there is a subtle body, right? Now, this gross body is say of a no human. Now, if he is how he is changing his subtle body with the association of modes. Now he will be forced into another gross body. Now he don't have option because this is done by material nature. He is forced. So there is no option for him. So we have to so much work on our subtle body so that material nature don't act. Instead of Mahamaya acting, it will be Yogamaya we want, right? So Yogamaya will come into place for devotees, whereas for non-devotees it will be, it will be air gross body and subtle body. So subtle body is some part of this gross body. So here what is happening is Mahamaya is acting, but we want Yogamaya to act. So Yogamaya acts, then we get a spiritual body. In both cases, some energy is acting on us. But if we want to have what energy should act based on what actions we are doing. So after understanding Krishna as he is, one can be eligible to enter into Krishna Loka and associate with him. So that means Yoga Maya will take the settled body and take us to the spiritual world. Otherwise, Mahamaya will say, okay, fine, come on, take this body again, go to the school and again do all your homeworks. The mind is the cause of such an exalted position. You see, the subtle body is what? This is mind. So we have to work with our mind. Mind can also get one a body like that of a dog and hog to absorb the mind always in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, the greatest perfection of human life. This is what is the success for devotees or any. This is what we have to consider success. How much a person is having absorption. So, absorption is what is success. How much I am absorbed in Krishna. Absorption in Krishna. So, so this is actually success for us. No matter how much we did in this life, everything is forgiven. You forgiven in the sense nothing matters actually. You may be a rich person, poor person, you are successful person, business success, this success. You had money, you didn't had money, family relations, everything is chaotic. But he had that absorption. That is why we have to why how this absorption comes. Two things: living according to dharma and sadhana, performing sadhana. So these two things are very much needed for to get absorption. If you live according to dharma, what happens? Mind becomes sattvic. Mind becomes sattvic. And if you do proper sadhana, then the impressions are proper. So you get a sattvic mind and you are getting good impressions by sadhana. So then we get absorption. So that is the reason the relationship in the family should be good. Why relations in the family? You have to do every duty of your household duties and all properly, because that will keep your mind calm. No cheating, proper responsibilities, proper following things is going to affect the subtle mind. It is going to give you a proper mind. And then you are doing sadhana. So it is giving a positive impressions, Krishna conscious impressions. So these two things are what makes our mind absorbed. So no matter success you get or not does not matter only for us. We should get a sattvic mind. We should get good impressions with our sadhana. These two are actually what is the most important needed for us. And if anything is broken, this Proji, I cannot handle my family. Even if you cannot handle family, you have to do it, because if you become irresponsible, then it will damage the mind. That is why dharma is not followed. It is who is getting maximum affected is it will damage the mind. Like a brahmachari is joining ashram to escape family suffering. Is want to escape other things. That is the only motive. Then his mind is not going to be sattvic. But he is ready to take serve guru, take responsibility for guru. Then his mind becomes sattvic. That part is there that he want to escape, but more important for him to proper is similarly for a grahastha. So for a grahastha, he has to do the responsibility of house very properly. Then his mind get absorbed. Now you may say, "Are Tukaram Maharaj, he was not doing any responsibility." Srivas Thakur, they are they are already transcended the level of mind. For them, it is not needed. I know Jada Bharat is there. They are transcended the mind. But for us, we have not transcended. So that's why we have to follow the rules and regulations. Here actually Varnashrama comes. But we may not do Varnashrama. But so many rules of Varnashrama are favorable to keep the mind sattvic. That's why we accept some of the rules. So that is the point. Okay. We will take questions. What is three modes compared to mobile? I did not research. So this is the comparison given by Bhakti Vigyan Maharaj, how he compares the computers with the subtle body and gross body. So I didn't check with. I will say to see. Yes, Srinivas Prasad Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Dhanut Pranam,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Thank you so much for your detailed explanation of everything. You so beautifully try to explain everything, and it really helps us in our devotional life. So I just wanted to express my gratitude. Uh, and I have a question, right? That uh, hearing all this, mm, uh, it sometimes seems that the ultimate goal is too far for conditioned soul. Like if I'm talking about myself, so what is the hope in this situation, that if we just commit, uh, we generally commit. I'm talking about myself, that sometimes in the night some uh, insect is just roaming around our ear and is making noise, and we are just tapping it, and I don't know whether it gets killed or so. So we are just committing offense, actually killing someone, which, so we are not that conscious. So we have to go very very mother. I think sometimes think when I hear all this, so I think that the goal which uh, we have is too far for a conditioned jiva like us, and to be in that consciousness, to first reach to the mode of goodness, and then thinking about going to some other planet, or going to Golok, is like, I don't know in which lifetime I can reach there. But can you just guide that what ultimately, as a in a normal course of our sadhana, what all things we should take care, which can really help us to at least have that consolation, that we also have some place in this process.
One thing, Prabhu, what I thought for myself is I will try my best in this life. At
Mm,
least at the end of life, I should not regret that I didn't try my best. What level I'll reach, I don't know. But
mm,
at least there is no option for us. Na? What is the alternative? We only have to do bhakti ultimately. So,
mm,
uh, and with that bhakti, how far I will reach, that I don't know. But at least at the end of life, I feel that I should not regret that I didn't try my best. So that was the only criteria I keep for myself. Okay, today I tried my best, and every day I try my best to do whatever possible. And then wherever we reach, like I have to go, say 1,000 kilometers. I can
mm,
walk only 10 meters, 10 meters a day. So
mm,
that I'll make sure that I'll walk 10 meters a day because that is my capacity.
mm, mm,
Maybe in future it may increase, but let me try at least. If I don't walk only, there is a question of reach 1,000 kilometers. You're understanding.
mm,
So at least we are trying in the right direction. We are trying. When it will happen, that's not, we don't know. But at least we should not feel that I didn't make my full effort. So that regret should not be there at the end of the life. So yeah, whatever is correct things we continue doing, and how many lifetimes it may take, we don't know. But at least we made the right choices and right attempts, and in the right direction we are. So that is most important.
mm.
Success is Krishna's hand, we're not in our hand.
Yeah, very true. But sometimes it really makes us think that the goal which is there is too far for, because seeing our day to day life conditioning, thought process, karanam sang, why do we associate most of the times in office, and we just mm, uh, sometimes it feels that, I don't know how much it will help to complete our 16 rounds in the morning, and hearing Bhagavatam on Sundays, or by the grace of Balaram Shakti Prabhu and you were able to hear this, and then throughout the day, what all consciousness we get into, and then so many struggles and the modes which are always driving us, the thought process, the conditioning. Uh, it sometimes seems
Yeah,
that
that
very very tough to come out of that condition, uh, which I don't know. We don't know exactly how much conditioned we are deeply from how many births. So we are just struggling, and sometimes I'm talking about myself, that it seems though we are trying and we are experiencing something in devotion, uh, that the process is the best. We experience so many things, so many, while deity worshipping or chanting the holy name or hearing Bhagavatam, so many things come in front of us, which gives us encouragement also. But sometimes when we hear that, um, our about our conditioning and the hope of, uh, uh, because there are so many integrities, na? Small things conditioning up. When you kill small insects also, you at that point in time you don't think, but you, because of your conditioning, you just slap that insect and it gets killed. And I don't know how much that if will have effect on our uh, devotional life.
yeah, it is definitely there, bro. See what important, na? Slowly we should develop that desire to come out of these things. Then Krishna will make arrangement. So if you want to get absorbed in Krishna,
Hmm.
Krishna makes all arrangement. Only thing is we should desire it strongly. So now you are at least identifying that you have a problem. This is
Hmm.
the first step. So if you don't identify, then we'll not make an endeavor in that direction. And for Krishna to make that arrangement does not take much for him. Only thing is he sees our desire. So
Hmm.
what you have to do it with all these things, you just have to intensely desire and pray to Krishna. And maybe after some time you will get opportunity to stay in Vrindavan and hold a chant 64 rounds, hold a chant every day 64 rounds and go. Yeah, very much possible, because if you are desiring, Krishna can make arrangement, na?
Meaning
You understand that it won't work like this,
that's what I'm
and
saying now, that
if you
sometimes
feel that this won't.
it gives us that hope also, because I had a deep desire to go to Vrindavan, and we had purchased a land also in the early years, but then we came to know from Maharaj, very senior disciple, that how did you purchase the land? So we sold it immediately in 6 months. All we when we came to know. Then after 15 years now, by the grace of devotees, we got a house in GEV. So I'm just planning to just go there, and it's as good as going to Vrindavan. And like you said, Malavi, I never thought that, but these 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 small things also help us in devotional life. But at the same time, sometimes it feels that it's a long way to go. I don't know how we'll be able to at least reach to the mode of goodness, and then engage or absorb. Basically, are how are we able to absorb in Krishna consciousness exactly, which can help us. So that was my point, that how to reach to that level, that where we are absorbed and we are conscious
Yeah,
of
it will
not
happen, bro.
committing small these sins which can drag us back to this material world.
Yeah, very much true. Only thing is, we it was, you have to desire it strongly. Krishna will make arrangement. At the end of life, at least we actually, this is the target I have. This lifetime, I should reach the stage of Nishta. So then
Hmm.
next life we'll continue from Nishta. That is sufficient for us. We cross the anartha nivritti stage, na? That is almost as liberation only.
Hmm. Well, very tough, but Prabhuji,
So at
I'm
least try to
seriously very
reach
very
Nishta
grateful
stage.
to you and Balram Shakti Prabhu and all very wonderful Vaishnavas, which Maharaj has really uh, matlab, given us the gems, all his disciples. So just by hearing them, Rajbihari Prabhu, Radha Gopinath Prabhu, Gaurang Prabhu, there are so many we inspiration which we get, and but at the same time we sometimes get fearful also that we have a long way to go, long way to go. But as you said, that at least we have to have that desire, strong desire. Then by the grace of Guru and Krishna and Vaishnavas like you, who inspire us, they can help us to. Otherwise, sometimes when I hear, I was hearing the discussion of Varanasi Prabhu before this class also, and then when you were also saying certain things, so sometimes it feels that the goal is way ahead from where we are. Like it seems that like if we have to reach to the 100, so sometimes it feels that we are just starting. We are not even to the level of one. So when will we reach to the 100? But as you rightly said, that at least we start walking 10 meters. So that gives us a hope that at least we are walking. Rest, uh, Guru and Krishna and the intention
Actually, one thing I'll tell, bro. One thing I'll tell.
yes,
This is
yes,
very important. We
yes.
should not think about what will happen to me.
Hmm.
If you do that, then we'll be always in this paranoid state. Always think what I can do for the mission of Guru and how can serve them. You
Yeah, very
cultivate
true.
this mindset, na,
Hmm.
life will be very easy. Otherwise, I'll be always be paranoid with, "Arey, what is happening to me? What is happening to me?" Don't worry about it.
Hmm. No,
We
no.
just focus on.
Generally
I want
I'm
to.
not.
I mean,
Generally, I don't worry. But today, hearing about
yeah,
this,
that is there. We should also
oh,
think, but
that made me afraid,
sometimes
and
we.
that made me forced to ask that. Otherwise, so I'm like bindas. What you are saying, I only pray to the Guru Maharaj and Radha Gopinath that whatever services I'm able to do, and I feel very happy that at least I'm getting this kind of service. But today, I don't know
Yeah, that's all.
why I was like little afraid that what will happen.
Don't worry, don't worry. Yeah, some once in a while we all get this. Then again we come back. We say, "Let me serve Guru. Let him take. Let
Uh,
Guru decide what should happen to me. I'll
yes,
continue doing."
yes. And
Yes,
we are
yes.
very,
Thank
very
you.
fortunate, Prabhuji, that way. Very, very fortunate, blessed. At least, like we have been hearing that Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jeev. So at least that way we are very, very fortunate in this metal world just by coming to this process of Krishna consciousness by the grace of Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj and all of you Vaishnavas. So that always gives us a very, very, because we try to preach it to others, because when we feel this is the best process, then only we are able to guide others to this process. That is
Yeah.
always there. But sometimes just like today, only I felt ki yaar, it's a long way to go. Let me ask that how can we, what is the hope and how can we remain absorbed so that at least this dharma and the sadhana which you said, following dharma. And I don't know, Prabhuji, many, like you said, you gave example of the elevated souls which we can't compare with. But in the process of Krishna consciousness, we have also seen many devotees who left their wives or who left their household duties, uh, and so how do we see them there?
They have transcended the mind, bro. They are free from anarthas. That's why they are able to do it. They don't have that impressions to enjoy in the family and all. For them, it is allowed. If I
Okay.
still impressions and if I go, I know then I become a mithyachari. Na, that's the problem.
But I had heard
So
somewhere
if
that
you are not having,
if somebody gives like leaves the family or like, then he, because of that karma had to be there, so he will have to in next life also, agar, if he gives up his wife or wife gives the
no,
husband,
there
then
is no karma only. Impressions are not there means where is question of karma? Karma means impressions, na.
hmm.
Are I don't have only impressions. Where is the question of karma then? That is what the free from mind means. What you lost the karma. Karma part is gone now. No need to do.
Because now they have
So you are
elevated,
free from
mother,
it.
they have crossed that level. Basically, you meant to say.
They crossed. You crossed anartha nivritti means you will be free from that karma only. There is no
Hmm.
karma for him. So where is the question of for him to again to come back? No need.
And there are many devotees who just do it and then they come back to, because they have that at an immature stage they do certain things, then they come back, they get married. That also we have seen in so many instances like that. How do we understand that?
That is not wrong. At least they tried. It's not wrong. At least they tried,
Hmm.
sincerely tried. So Krishna will understand and he will definitely benefit them because at least they try to go to Krishna. Now, why they want to do? They want to be serious in Krishna, but it didn't work in that direction.
Okay.
But Krishna will notice. So Krishna is very kind. He sees the you made an attempt itself is success in Krishna consciousness. At least
Oh.
he made an attempt. And I didn't. The one person said, "Oh, I never lost the match. I never
Hmm.
lost the match means I never played only." So there is a losing. At least this fellow tried. So he cannot make a fun of him. At least that fellow tried. I didn't even try only like that.
Very nice. Thank you so very much, Prabhu. It always gives me so much of satisfaction from your talks and from your wonderful answers.
Thank you. Uh, yes, Yel Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, I say the same
Hare.
thing as what Prabhu just said. Very satisfying hearing from you. Okay, yeah, I do have several things. One is, um, when a jiva, due to too much attachment to the body, he goes into coma, right? So,
Yeah.
why is it that material nature doesn't simply force him into his new body?
Mm, he is so much attached. Maybe that is also another type of punishment only in one level. He's attached to it. But I don't know why it is not forcing him. Every time it is forcing. In some cases, it is holding on because he is also fighting with the maternal nature. Maybe I I
Yeah,
never
I mean,
got this
nobody
question.
really wants to nobody really wants to leave their body. Nobody wants to
Yeah.
die. But sometimes we are forced immediately, and sometimes we stay in coma or whatever, or ghost. You know. So I'm just wondering why there's these
That
differences.
is because of that living entity's strong attachment. That is the main reason that that fellow is very attached to the body and is trying to uh, hold on. And if you have strong attachment, so then material nature also will wait. Maybe that is what we can understand because even ghost body is also like that only. It is a strong attachment.
I
Is
know,
don't want to
but the
that
thing is,
he don't want to. Yeah.
everybody, especially those of us who do not have much spiritual knowledge, right? And who think there is nothing to me beyond this body, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All people of such consciousness will never want to relinquish the body, and therefore they will try their best to hold on to it. So for the average materialist, why would there be these differences in the transmigration process?
So this I also don't know. I not so sure about it. I, I don't want to
Okay.
speculate also, but
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Yeah, so I have some other things too. Um, the, the about how the subtle and gross senses, they affect each other. So your subtle um your subtle desires, right? I mean, desires are only subtle, but in your subtle body, you have these desires, and that is what creates your gross body, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but then when it goes from the opposite direction, right? It's not that the gross body creates your subtle body, it's that your gross body affects the desires in your subtle body, no? Is that how the vice versa works?
Yes, 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 yes. It
Uh-huh.
affects the subtle body in the sense that if you are grown up, after certain age, you start feeling that different attraction and other things that happens. So after certain age, the attraction and other things come in the humans. And even for small children, the food items, their taste is very little, so they may not want to eat many things. But when we grow up, then our tastes, they are fully grown, so then we want to taste many varieties. For small children, milk is sufficient, or some in India there is Farex or something, I don't know, Cerelac. Some things are there for children, that is sufficient for them. They don't need much because their senses are not grown.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And so um when a child crosses the stage of puberty, right?
Yeah.
And at that time, this, I guess, the subtle senses or something develops.
Yes.
And because the subtle senses have developed, that's why we see the changes in, for females is very obvious, the changes that we see in the gross body, for example. Is
Yeah.
that the understanding?
Yes, 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 yes,
Okay.
yes,
Also, Prabhu, we talk about the experiences of the subtle senses, right? Like, especially in dreams, but even if you're awake, you can have experiences on the subtle level. But what does it mean? So, if because that's what you said, right? That the actual experience is in the mind, right? In the subtle senses,
yes,
no?
yes, yes,
So then,
yes, yes.
if since that's the case, then what's the experience on the gross level? Let's take, you know, I I'm eating something, pizza, right? I'm eating a slice of pizza. And so I'm tasting that on the subtle level. And then what's happening on the gross level in terms of my experience? Because
See, you will
taste is
enjoy.
mhm.
Yes, yes. I'll explain. Say you are enjoying pizza. Now you ate first pizza. Now you experience some pleasure. I give you the second one. You will eat. Third one you'll eat. I give you 10th pizza. Now when you are eating, will you get the same pleasure of the first pizza?
No.
Why? If pizza is giving pleasure, it should always give pleasure, na?
Yeah.
That means the pleasure is in the chemicals that are generated in the mind. So what happens is after some time, the chemicals they get saturated. They don't generate anymore. So they ask for variety. They ask for different. They say now I want burger, or they will say I want pasta, something else. So that means what is happening? It's not the item. It's the chemicals that are generated in the mind that actually gives the pleasure. If the item gives pleasure, it should always give. If it is the gross sense that is experiencing pleasure, gross sense cannot experience pleasure. It's the subtle senses that are needed for the gross sense to experience pleasure. So the gross subtle senses are because of the impressions. Of course, that is generated as the chemicals in the brain. That is also in a gross level only, but it shows like the chemicals in the brain to make us understand that it is the subtle senses that are working. Subtle level only we are experiencing the pleasure. It is not the gross level. Gross are only facilitating for the subtle senses to enjoy.
So the gross sense, like the tongue, right? Is
Yeah.
only it's only like a mechanical device to bring the sense object in contact with the subtle senses.
Yes. And then that is talu, that is the subtle sense. So that experiences the pleasure.
Okay, so if it's the subtle sense that experiences pleasure, I'm not still clear about the relationship between the subtle sense and the chemical. Which chemical? Are we talking about dopamine or
Yeah,
which one?
dopamine and serotonin, so many other something,
Okay, well,
some things are.
whatever chemical, right? So what is the interaction, or what is the relationship between these chemicals and the subtle sense?
No, no. Actually, it is subtle sense only. But the scientists who are scientists and all, their research is they understand that as soon as you taste something, the chemicals are generating, and that is the cause of the pleasure that they say. But we say that beyond that chemicals also, why their chemicals are generated, because it is the subtle body that is experiencing pleasure, and that is manifested as chemicals. Say now I'm eating a mango, and then the experience of the mango is going to the brain, and brain is generating certain chemicals, and then a person feels, oh, I am experiencing pleasure. And what we say, it is not just the brain, but there are much more subtler than that. That is the subtle tongue, and then the subtle mind. So, which are also the cause of, which are actually experiencing pleasure.
Okay,
So
so
they say gross tongue and brain is gross and tongue is also gross. What scientists say, from the tongue, it is the brain that is experiencing. We say along with the tongue there is a subtle sense, and along with the brain there is mind, which is subtle. So we say it is more subtle that is experiencing pleasure, not the gross items. Now brain will not experience pleasure. There are chemicals generated in the brain, but the mind that experience pleasure. Even if somebody brain dead, also person lives. How he is living? Because the subtle senses are still there in the body. The coma, brain is not functioning, but what is functioning? Mind is functioning there. So mind is what experience. So it's not the tongue, it is the subtle sense of tongue. It is not the brain, it is the mind. It's like that what we discuss.
yeah, so but you made a distinction between the subtle sense and the mind. What was that distinction?
See,
Because
tongue is gross and there is subtle tongue,
yeah,
and then there is a brain, but there is a mind.
yeah. So between the I'm talking between the subtle sense and the mind. What is that? What is that distinction there?
Subtle sense and mind.
Yeah, you're making you're making distinction here in this when we're talking about eating mango or pizza, whatever, right? There is
Yeah.
the experience of pleasure is happening in the subtle sense, the subtle tongue, right? Prabhu, are you there?
Like in the dream, you are eating, still you can experience some pleasure.
Wait, did you
Who
start
is
talking just
experiencing?
now? Because there was some long silence there. I don't know if you were speaking.
Oh, really? Okay, there was
Yeah,
some signal problem. No,
yeah.
no, what I'm telling
Okay,
is
yeah. So what I
when
was
we are
saying was that
eating,
um, when we're eating
no,
a
I'm
mango, there's the subtle sense is experiencing the pleasure. So what's the role of the mind here?
oh, mind. Mind is storing of impressions, then only it will experience. See, if you don't have the impressions of a mango or anything, you will not experience that pleasure. You will not get that experience. Now, what is like Sukadeva Goswami? If he is given mango or he is given any item, food item, it is same only for him. Why it is same? because his mind does not have any impressions only.
So for us to experience pleasure or hatred, we have to have a previous experience, impression.
Yes, or some feedback of it. That means somebody should inspire us to do, or something related to it should be there. Then only it will happen. Otherwise, no.
So, but then what about if it's the very first time ever that I'm trying mango? Then what? Then what?
Like say, after you try, you get experience. Like you will not. That means it is sweet. That means you already have some experience of it, or it is pungent, or some taste, some experience. Of course, new experiences also we can get because mind is programmed to. Basically, it's a desire to enjoy. So if you are desire to enjoy, the first time you are seeing, first time we took mobile. Mobile was not there, say 20 years back. Now we are so much attached to
Yeah.
mobiles. So even though it is first time, but the desire to enjoy is there in the mind, na? So that is why it is able to experience. If the desire to enjoy is not there in the mind, you get a mobile or you get a laptop, nothing makes a difference for you.
Right. But in the event that I've never in my life or previous lives had a mango, right? Then what will my experience be that first time?
Ah, so you have a desire to enjoy. Then when we eat it, then you, because it is connected to one of the tastes that are available in the tongue. So definitely you'll experience it. See, tongue has some taste, pungent, sweet, bitter, and all these things. So tongue has no that experience, that what do you say? That ability is there now in the tongue.
To
Like say now
distinct.
you are eating first time this sweet. So now you have experience of sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So now when I give you another different variety of sweet, then you will like it because you already have experience and you have a desire to enjoy it also.
Okay.
So now
Okay.
if you
So.
don't have a desire to enjoy, now then the programming is deleted. You don't have a desire to enjoy. Then
Mm.
when I give you sweet, when I give you hot, when I give you anything, then the programming won't work. Even though it may have some it will not cause any impressions in the mind. So mind will not get any distractions. So first thing is you have the memory, and you should then only, and there is a desire to enjoy. Then the sense object comes, then it starts activated. Otherwise, no activation. Now, if you give Sukadev Goswami sweet rice, will it have any effect on his mind?
No, but I mean he'll
No effect.
recognize. He'll recognize whether it's sweet or hot or what. No, he will
He is seeing a
recognize.
woman taking bath also did not make a difference for him. It was like raw. He's seeing some stone only.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't even
Yeah.
bother to make an acknowledgement only. Why? It did not register only for his mind. Because senses and like Jada Bharat, he's given anything, it does not matter. Is a rotten rice or this rice does not matter. Not that his senses don't have any ability. His senses are strong, they are fully capable. But mind is not there, so it does not matter. Rishabh Dev is not that his senses are not strong, they are strong, but does not matter for him because mind is not programmed.
Mm-hmm.
So senses can enjoy only when the mind is programmed.
Okay, so the senses and the subtle senses enjoy, the gross senses, they're just like a mechanical tool to connect the senses, the subtle senses, with their sense objects. That's the extent of the gross sense
Yes,
job.
yes.
Uh-huh. Okay. Also, Prabhu, when you say that we're
Like
what we
sometimes na, people lose their taste they say. When they lose taste means what is happening? Tongue is there na. When they lose taste means what they are losing.
the subtle sense is not operating properly.
Yes, that's so.
Okay. And whenever you use this term, that we are choosing the three modes, right? Choosing the three modes means that we are deciding to engage with sense objects for our own pleasure. That's what it means, no?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. And you know, the effect of that will depend on the the modes the mode of the sense object
Yes,
that we're engaging in.
yes.
But you know, I mean, all sense objects, they are inanimate. They are in that way tamagun. So
Yes.
how so when do they become of a variety of modes? They're all dull matter. So you know, how do we say
When the
that?
energy of Lord enters, when the energy of Lord enters, they become activated. As such, there is equilibrium in Mahatattva, then Lord glances the time factor. Actually, that's what time enters, then everything changes. It's actually it's time.
But the wooden table is just as inert as, you know, uh, a glass mirror. You know, I mean, are they not both in the mode of ignorance? They're all inanimate.
Yeah, they are in ignorance, but they are having an energy of the Lord. That's what, na. As such, the matter is inert only, but Lord is functioning through time. So what time does, na? It starts the three modes. They always start competing with each other because of time factor. Now, Tamoguna and Rajoguna are victorious. So they are competing and they are victorious. So then what happens is that people start functioning in Tamoguna and Rajoguna because modes are like that. So it's the time factor that is actually activated functioning here.
Mhm.
So time is the energy of Lord which is making the mode to go around and then the things are happening in this world. That's why it is Prakriti Kriyamanan. It's modes only they are going. And how the modes are going? They are going in this way. They are up and down in the sense they are activated with the energy of the Lord time.
But then we also hear that the mode of a sense object depends upon how we use it, like a microphone, right? You know, it's
Yeah.
don't matter, but how, you know, if a person is some rock star is using it for his own purposes, you know, is then we say the microphone is in the mode of, you know, passion. If it's used to give Bhagavatam class, then the microphone is in the mode of goodness. I hear like that. So is it, I don't know if it's a matter of how we use sense objects, or if it's, or if the mode is inherent to the sense object, you know, or how you are explaining, you know, it's just kind of
No, no. There, what happens? Na? See, modes they create impressions in us. So when you are using it in for your own sense gratification, then they create an impression. If you are not using, if you are using for the Lord's pleasure, then they don't create impression. They don't bind you. So in that way, the same object which is supposed to be bind you, the music, can also liberate you if you are not engaging it for your own selfish purposes. It's like that. So it
mm-hmm.
is not the so the same energy. Now we are using the same energy for service of Lord, then it will not create an impression. So then it becomes a Yogamaya instead of Mahamaya. It's like that.
Right. So then how do you reconcile what you just now said with what you said previously? That is, you know, the time factor enters.
That's why the time does not affect devotees. Why it does not affect devotees? Because they are actually engaging in the service of Lord. Ayur Harati Vaikumsam Udyam Nastan Channaso Tasyate Kshuronita Uttama Shloka Vartaya. So Bhagavatam says that Ayur Harati Vaipumsam. Every rising and setting of the sun, the person's lifespan is reducing. Oh, but Uttama Shloka Varta. But somebody who is listening Bhagavatam continuously, that means the time don't affect him. And
Oh
same
yes.
thing the Savanaka Rishi says
Uh,
to Sutta Goswami also. That no, we are not afraid of death because the death personified is sitting with us when we are hearing Bhagavatam. So you please continue, we will continuously hear because the death is also sitting here and listening to Bhagavatam.
yes, that I understand. But when you say that, when
So their
time.
time factor is that only, na? Time is death only. Time also one form of time. So
Okay.
time is not affecting means what? Time is not affecting means what is not affected? That means it is not having effect on your consciousness. It is not affecting you. It is making us closer to Krishna. So it is not affecting in the sense it is not deteriorating our consciousness. It is only making us closer to Krishna. So it is good only, no?
Yeah, but it does affect the
So
sense.
time is always working. Only thing is whether I am accepting it as a will of Lord or not, that makes a difference. So now time is going to affect me also. That means it's not that devotees don't become old. Only thing is it is accepted as will of Lord, then it is not having an effect. It's like that. If you
Mhm.
accept time as will of Lord, then it is not going to affect you. That means you will not get bewildered by the moments of time. Otherwise, we get bewildered. Arey, why this is happening? Why no he this fellow is winning? Why this is happening? Why there are so many calamities? All these things are bewilderment because of time. But when we are acting in the for the accepting as a will of Lord, then it is not affecting us. We understand. Okay, this is what is going to happen. It's fine. You are understanding the difference. So time not affecting devotees in the sense they accept it as will of Lord, that's why it don't affect them. If you are not accepting as will of Lord, then everything happens. If the tax are raised and then you get so and so as the leader of the country, or you get this and some things in the family happens and some calamity. So everything is actually because of time only, na? Why so much rajoguna tamoguna is increasing? Because the time is making it happen. Now if you don't, if you are accepting as it's as a will of Lord, it will not bother much. You will not have much effect. Then means you are not having effect of time on you. You are saying, oh, if Krishna wants in that way, let it be. If Krishna wants in that way, let it be. So then there is no effect of time. Otherwise, for everything we are crying, oh, why this is happening, why that is happening. So you are understanding the difference. So time is working but won't affect, because I love Krishna. Whatever Krishna does, I like it. That's all.
And a person who is being affected, how does it manifest for them?
Everybody is affected. We are also affected by now. What is causing us pain in this world? When things are changing, it is very unhappy. Oh, things are not good, things are not right. What is not right? Because it is changing, it is not right. Becoming
Mhm.
old, is it right or wrong? We feel not right. We have to maintain our house every now and then. This will get damaged, that will get damaged. Why things are getting damaged? Because time is acting on it. That's why it is getting damaged. Why houses are getting damaged? Because time is acting on them. How many people want to repair their houses again and again? If everything is getting damaged, the body is getting damaged. Why it is getting damaged? Because of time factor only.
Mhm.
So we are affected by it. Old age we are affected, diseases we are affected. Everything is because of time factor, right?
Yeah, but the devotee, in a way, you can say he's not affected because he accepts whatever Krishna wants to do,
Yes, yes,
like that.
yes.
Okay, Prabhu, when you said that the two most important things is, what were they? Goodness, developing goodness, and sadhana. Were those the two things?
Yeah, following dharma and doing sadhana.
Which is sounds like practically the same, because our sadhana is our dharma, no?
Yeah, dharma in the sense you have to do some prescribed duties that are like you are a now family person. So there will be some things you have to do which are favorable to bhakti. There things are there. Of course, highest dharma is bhakti only, but along with the bhakti, you have to do your uh, you have to clean your house, earn your money, cook your food. All these things are there, and you have some family relationships are there. So all these things matter.
Okay. So you were making distinction between, let's say, our material dharma and our spiritual sadhana. No?
Not in terms of material dharma, but basically your some responsibilities, whatever they are there for now, as a
Mm.
family member. If a person is a grahastha, so he has some things to do. Now you cannot just say whole day I'll sit and chant. Not possible. You have to do some things which are needed.
Yeah, but both things, both the dharma and the sadhana, is meant to promote the mode of goodness, so that it becomes easy.
No, but dharma is to bring goodness. Sadhana is to give proper impressions.
Oh,
You give spiritual impressions. Sadhana, like exclusively sadhana, basically hearing, reading, chanting. Whole day you will not do, na. Then other time of the day you have to do other activities which we are supposed to do.
okay. Okay.
So that's how the impressions are shown.
Uh-huh. Just one last thing, Prabhu. You said that people actually come to know, like some people, they come to know their next body before they get it. I think this is in the context of, like, you're discussing some heads of state. They don't want to leave their body. They see that they're going to become a dog, so they will try not to get that. But do people actually come to know before they get their new body what their new body will be?
Uh, at least they will see Yamadutas. They don't know. They'll know that they are going to hell. But I don't know whether they may know some may if that is there they will come to know they are going to become like this. But at least they will know that they are going to get a very bad destination. That much people will understand at the time of dying.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, you've been so merciful to me again today, but especially today. I know I was talking a long time. I thank you so very much.
So we have some questions in chat box. So how the impressions will go from our heart and mind? How could we identify our subtle self? So we will discuss that tomorrow. Thank you all very much. I think tomorrow we will not have class. Monday. Okay. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.